Hello. Welcome to another Deadline stream. Looking ahead towards Game Week 14 today. A lot to discuss, a lot to get through in the last 25 minutes of, well, until the deadline basically. Will Salah start? I do not know, to be honest. I do not know. I'm hoping he will. It's a weird one for me because I'm a Palace fan. So I'm sort of thinking, Palace, let me turn that off. There we go. That's nice. Hello in the chat, lolwat. Thank you for joining me. It's good to see people getting in here early already. Hopefully, we'll be joined soon by a co-host. But until that happens, we're just going to take a look at some of the fixtures, my team, how things are going ahead of game week 14. So, first things first, let's take a look at my team here. Now, for me, it's a tough one. Obviously, right now on screen, I've got Kevin De Bruyne captained. I've currently got Bruno Fernandes on the captaincy, and I think I'm gonna stick with that. I'm not 100% sure though, to be honest. I mean, De Bruyne against Southampton. It looks like a decent little fixture for Southampton. For Manchester City, sorry. De Bruyne against Southampton looks like a pretty decent fixture for them. I think the Manchester City will like how Southampton play, how they move the ball about. You've got to pay some kind of respect to Southampton. To be fair, I mean, they really like to pass the ball around, but the high press is something that I don't think that it's something that I think that Manchester City will really like playing against, and so Kevin De Bruyne could definitely be a very good captain. That being said, Leeds they're leaking goals like there's no tomorrow. So Bruno Fernandes, I think Bruno Fernandes will be the most kind of popular captaincy pick as well this week. I'm leaning towards Bruno Fernandes right now, but then you've also got Son, you've also got Salah. I mean, the fact that Salah is a little bit of a doubt, it leans me towards not captaining him. But I think the other guys are definitely worth a consideration, which is why I'm sort of considering until the last second. This Anthony Collins, thank you for the comment in, says, is it worth bringing in Target for Justin? Now, I believe Target has had a price rise and is now up to 4.6 million. Justin, I think, at 4.9 million now as well. I think for this one game week, Aston Villa look like they have a very, very good fixture against West Brom. If you, I'm assuming when you say bringing in, that means you wanna transfer that player in. It's hard because let me just bring up here. I think for this one fixture, it looks really good. But then after that, Aston Villa they've got the likes of Chelsea, they've got the likes of Liverpool, I think Spurs as well. They've got three really good teams going in there. So I'd say, I've obviously got Martinez. I don't know if you do as well. But for me, that's coverage enough of the Aston Villa clean sheet. Yes, you might be worried. Let me just bring up Leicester's fixtures here as well, just to remind myself how they're kind of looking. But also, one thing that I definitely consider is if you don't have a wild card either, I definitely start to look towards bringing players in who potentially have a double game week 19. I know that Target doesn't really have too great of fixtures from now until about game week 20 either, but then again does have a fixture come game week 18. So yeah, Aston Villa have West Brom, not too bad of a fixture. Crystal Palace, not too bad, but then they've got Chelsea, Man United, Spurs, Everton, and then come game week 20, Burnley. But then you can always just bring in Target for them. So I wouldn't say it's an absolute must-have, to be honest, to bring him in. Who have Leicester got? Sorry, let me just bring that up quickly. Leicester have Spurs, and then Man United, then Palace, then Newcastle. That is a real tough one, to be honest, because out of the two players that you've just said, Target does have the better fixtures, but only by a very, very small margin. If you can get through this game week, then I think someone like Dallas, or even I think someone like Charlie Taylor for this game week, because they've got a home fixture against Wolves. They look very, very good at the back of late. Okay, so I will bench one Bamford, Adams and Zaha. I'll come to that in a second. This guy is just clarifying that it's wildcarding in game week 16, so a 2-week punt over Justin. I see. So if it's between those two, then I think Target looks very good. One to consider also is Dallas and Charlie Taylor as well. Those guys are good, but for a 2-game week punt, I think Target is a very, very fine pick. Bench one between Bamford, Adams and Zaha. I mean, probably don't know, but I'm a Crystal Palace fan, so I have a lot of bias from that respect. But that being said, all kind of bias aside, Bamford looks like he can score in pretty much every single game, and I mean Che Adams, the way that Southampton are playing, but none of those sides have particularly good fixtures though, do they? You've got Che Adams. Let me bring up the fixture list. Sorry about this. Fixtures. Game week 14. Remember this? Yeah. Che Adams has got City, so you wouldn't really be expecting too much from him, if I'm being honest. Then you've got Zaha against Liverpool at home. Liverpool. It's who's looked more leaky. You have to sort of make the decision of which defense have you think has looked leaky. Statistically wise, Manchester City and Chelsea have the best defenses in the league, so maybe take that into consideration. I think out of those three options, I think for me, I'd definitely be playing Bamford, because literally in any game they could score, and Manchester United have got this sort of record of conceding first in games and then going and winning them. So I think that Bamford definitely should be in there, and it's literally just a toss of a coin for the last spot, to be honest with you. If you're new around here, please don't forget to plug quickly. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Really does help me out. Hit the like button if you're enjoying the stream as well. This guy comes in with Wijnaldum. Is he good value at 5.3 million? I mean, he looks like he's going to get consistent game time now. If anyone's going to get dropped in that Liverpool midfield, it's going to be Curtis Jones and not Wijnaldum. Although, he doesn't really get too many returns. If I'm looking at that kind of price bracket, Souček is the standout, or someone like Pedro Neto, I think, is around that kind of price. So I don't think he's necessarily awful value, but in terms of being sort of a really good value player, there are definitely players around that kind of price bracket who spring out more to me than anything else. Now, keep commenting down below. Any thoughts on my team as well? I mean, I tell you what, Veltman is one that I'm praying. I know a lot of people have Lamptey in their teams. For me, it's the other way round. I'm almost hoping that he doesn't play. I mean, best of both worlds. I'd be very happy if Veltman and Lamptey were to play. But in terms of my team, I'm really hoping that Lamptey doesn't play, so Veltman definitely does, because Lamptey currently has like 75% over him. But we've seen Lamptey get the 75% and play the majority of the time, so it's kind of it's as expected, if you know what I mean. So I'm fully expecting a 1 point there for Veltman, because he will most likely come off of the bench to kind of manage Lamptey's minutes. Then in the midfield, as discussed, who are you guys captaining? That's what I want to know. Who is going to be the captaincy for this week? I have this kind of rule that I really do not like changing my captain, and kind of in the last hour before the deadline. I won't do any transfers. I won't make any sort of captaincy decisions. I've done it once or twice in the past, and I've had very varied results with that. But yeah, I think Bruno Fernandes for me got to be the captain, because he's the captain for my last hour, and Leeds just looks so poor at the back. I will be watching the Manchester City game though, and if De Bruyne does anything, it will kind of be bittersweet because I'll be obviously very happy that he is doing things and getting points for my FPL team. But at the same time, I'll be thinking, why in the world did I not captain this geezer? But either way, I guess out of the both, I'd rather sort of, get the points for him, not captain him, get the points for him, and hopefully Bruno Fernandes can come through. Even just a speciality Bruno Fernandes penalty, that will do very nicely. I think Jackie Grealish, what's been happening with him? To be fair, he's only not returned in the past 2 or 3 games because he did have that blank game week. So I don't think, when you watch Aston Villa play, the amount of times I'm going on about this, but when you watch them play, Grealish looks unbelievable. He set up El Ghazi, I think 5 or 6 times in the previous game, and El Ghazi fluffed his lines every single time. What was the guy playing? If literally, you've got Ollie Watkins up there, not too bad of a finisher, but he's very hot and cold. If you had someone decent, left attacking mid, right attacking mid, then I think Aston Villa would be absolutely unbelievable with Grealish in there as well. Hopefully Ross Barkley comes back so Grealish can pass to someone who has a little bit of competence on the ball and can actually finish as well. But I am really hoping for something from Grealish. It seems as though he's also above the kind of pecking order in penalties over Ollie Watkins. That's also if El Ghazi isn't on the pitch, which we might see some rotation for El Ghazi because he was just missing so many good opportunities at the weekend. We've got another comment coming in here. This guy said, who would you start? 4 of them out of Souček, Chilwell, Creswell, Dallas, Taylor, Target. I'm leaning to Chilwell, Target, Taylor, hoping for a clean sheet. And then I am not sure. So 4 of them out of those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 options. So for me, Target, definitely. West Brom away, very, very good fixture. Taylor for Burnley at home looks very good. Dallas, Manchester United away. I'd probably say no for Dallas. Manchester United away, I'm not really expecting a clean sheet. You could get some kind of attacking return. But obviously, if you're looking for attacking returns, I'm definitely looking towards Ben Chilwell over Dallas. Then you've got Creswell and Souček. That's a very, very tough one for me. For me, it's definitely Taylor, Target, and Chilwell. And then you say you're not sure like me as well. Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a very, very tough one because I look at attacking returns. And I'm thinking Creswell and Dallas, they've got decent attacking returns. I think then I am leaning towards Souček just because out of those 3 players, I'm looking towards attacking returns, and Souček gets very, very far forward. They're a lot of the time they're looking for him in the box. And they're always on corners. They are aiming to get that ball onto Souček's head. So we could definitely see something from him. I would find it very unlikely that we would see a surprise clean sheet in the Manchester United game, in the Leeds game. I think Dallas for this game most likely will get a 2-pointer. The Chelsea game, we could see a surprise clean sheet, although Chelsea they've only scored 1 goal in the last 2, so there is potential that we see a surprise clean sheet. So I think between Souček and Creswell, you just kind of have to decide out of those 2 for me which ones you think is a better option, whether you want to go for the more attacking returns or the potential of getting a clean sheet. As I said, if you're new around here, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We're getting really close to the deadline now, 11 minutes away. Let me know down in the comments if you're making any last minute moves, any last minute transfers, or just what players you're sort of deciding with to pick. Also, just let me know any score predictions in the comments down below. We've got Liverpool Crystal Palace, the first game of the day. Will Mo Salah start? That's what I want to know. Will Salah start? Can anyone let me know in the comments below? Any leaks? And also, who are people captaining? That is a big question for this week. As I've mentioned before, still Bruno Fernandes and De Bruyne. I'm sticking with my Bruno Fernandes. But Kevin De Bruyne, he's such a good option. He is such a good option for this week. And then we have up top, we have the main men, and then up top we have the main men, Patrick Bamford and ECL. I mean, the thing is with these two, every single week, I'm not expecting too much. One sec, quick question in. We have, should I do Werner to Davis and Basuma to Son? Oh. Is it, okay, the first thing I'd ask, is it a -4? Because this kind of move, -4 for me, considering Son's price just went up last night as well, you don't need to completely snap him in. If this is a 2-3 transfer move, I very much like it, because I think Son is kind of, he's a must-have this season, basically. Sonny Boy is a must-have this season, so if you can get him in. But that being said, a lot of Chelsea fans are believing that, Timo Werner is due a haul, and I think watching him play, he is due a haul. So taking a -4 very well could end up like a kind of Jamie Vardy to Salah situation, where you're sort of expecting Salah. I know it's a little bit different because everyone was bringing in Salah and it was such a good fixture for them. But if it is a -4, it very well could be a situation like that, where, Salah does okay, but then Werner goes and absolutely hauls. But if it is a 2-3 transfer move, I very much do like it, because, as I said, I think Son just looks incredible this season. The best start that a player has had to an FPL season in the history of FPL, I believe. So yeah, he looks unbelievable. This guy said, I'm going Salah captain. Don't believe he is going to be benched. I mean, I completely agree. I do not believe that Salah is going to be benched. For me, there's two reasons I'm not captaining. Firstly, I just don't want to take the risk. When you know that a player like Bruno Fernandes or Kevin De Bruyne, Pep has come out and said that De Bruyne basically will be playing. So sort of risk-free, De Bruyne will be there. I do think this whole is Salah playing. It's the Twitter rumour mills basically just trying to stir things up. I've had people in the group chats, they're trying to get you to take Salah out. And also, I'm a big Palace fan, and I just can't do it. I don't know if any of you guys in the chat, you support teams, whatever, but if a player's playing my team like Salah, I just can't bring myself to captain, especially when there are other options who I potentially can captain. If Fernandes was playing against De Bruyne, so if it was Man City versus Manchester United, and then Chelsea versus Spurs, I would find it very, very difficult to not put the captaincy on Salah. But when there are other options, especially when Salah's playing against Palace, I just cannot bring myself to do it. Anyone else in the comments down below, let me know who you're going with the captain this week. Can I see any Bruno Fernandes, any other people captaining Fernandes, or any people going with De Bruyne, or anything a little bit rogue? Callum Wilson, I had a little preview on him, a little captaincy preview. Looks like a decent option. Same with that Jack Grealish, also looks pretty decent as well. So I think both of those two could be decent captaincy options. A little bit of a differential, especially if you don't own the likes of, one of Fernandes, Son, Salah, or De Bruyne. I was actually talking to my mate last night, and he was saying the combination of that midfield five, although they're all very popular players in their own right, the combination of actually owning that midfield five, only 0.23%, I think that's of live ownership, actually own that, and the combination of Fernandes, Son, Salah and De Bruyne, I think 1% of managers own that combination. So if you have sort of any of those guys, if you have one of those combinations, you can feel pretty good about it. Yes, what it does mean is you have to go really cheap on your defence, which, as we can see, I'm very annoyed at myself for not going with Ben White over Veltman. But it is what it is. Potato. As I said, hopefully Veltman does start. We're getting closer and closer to the deadline stream. 5 minutes. Any last minute like picks, transfers, captaincies? Let me know down in the comments down below. I've got my final. Here we go. Final team. 5 minutes to go. Let me bring that across here. You can see. Hopefully, you can see there. The Bruno. Oh, let me bring it in. It's weirdly angled. Bruno Fernandes does have that captaincy armband on him, and that's what we're going in with. 5 minutes to go. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're new around here. But yeah, I was on Patrick Bamford and Calvert-Lewin. Mathematician. I know, man. I know. I mean, the thing is, you can look at expected goals. You can look at the percentages of players owned, but realistically, what we're dealing with football here. Son, Vardy, Kane. They're stat-defying players. They get one chance a game, and they're just clinical. Expected goals, expected assists. It doesn't take in or doesn't factor in how good kind of players are at actually finishing and putting away their chances. Spurs only need to create one chance a game to be able to put it away. It's the Mourinho style of play, and that doesn't mean, as we've seen so far this season, it doesn't mean that these players aren't bad options, even if their expected goals are so low that you wouldn't be expected them to score. So yeah, Patrick Bamford and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I mean, Calvert-Lewin, he's a season keeper so far. I mean, I'm saying that, and we're still very, very early on in the season. But he does just look like a season keeper. Even when he's not scoring, he's picking up assists. The qualm that some people have with him is that he's not very good on bonus points. If he scores, he's not like a sort of a Raul Jimenez who, when he would score, he would sort of be guaranteed at least 2, potentially 3 bonus points. Take it out. Oh, cheers! That's a lovely cup of tea. Let me know if anyone's drinking anything. Anyone got the brews, a cup of tea to wake them up in the morning. And also, I want to ask, what do we think the score will be for the Liverpool Crystal Palace game? I have to say, I do think Liverpool will win. I think it's going to be a tight game, a lot tighter than people think. But yeah, so we move it 3 minutes until the deadline now. I'm very much looking forward to this game week. Obviously, as I say normally, I hope everybody does do well this game week. Obviously, not as well as me, because certain players like Lamptey, I'm hoping Veltman plays instead. So, but yeah, I hope everyone does enjoy the game week. Last little discussion, we've got Jamal Lewis. Now, the thing with Lewis is Newcastle have been okay in the past for clean sheets, and Carl Darlow looked incredible. It looks like a very, very good option as a goalkeeper this year, picking up loads and loads of saves. But Newcastle are leaking goals. They leaked 5 to Leeds. And I had Jamal Lewis on my bench, who came on for 0 points. So that was a wonderful little substitution in there last week. I am hoping that it's sort of another 0-0 like we saw at Brighton. We do see when Fulham go away from home, they like to sit really deep. The guy asked, what's my overall rank? I'm sitting about 580k right now, hoping to push towards the top 100 by New Year's. It's been very, very up and down this season. I think for the past 5 weeks, I've had 5 or 6 weeks, and maybe one of those weeks I've had 11 players. Through a lot, to be fair, of fault to my own. Last week choosing Veltman over Ben White, it was a silly decision. But yeah, for about 580k, I'm reasonably pleased with that so far this season, and I'm hoping with the kind of team that I'm building that I'm hopefully on the up. I just look at that midfield, and I think every week, surely it's going to haul. Obviously, last week everyone was kind of looking towards Kevin De Bruyne and Bruno Fernandes, thinking, these, against West Brom, against Sheffield United, surely we're due sort of 60, 70, 80 pointers. End up coming out the week on sort of a 46, 50 pointer. 46 points after a -4, so not the best. Literally just 4 points above the average. But even if you're just a few points above the average, it seems as though you get a little bit of a red arrow, even if you're just above the average. I guess because people are kind of rotating up and down, so you get the people who are well below you, but get sort of 70, 80 point weeks that take them above you. But yeah, Jamal Lewis, I'm very, very much hoping that Fulham kind of go with the game plan that they did against Brighton. You know, they sit very deep when they go away from home. They do look good going forward. They do look very, very good going forward. Guys, a solid team should start climbing. I very much hope so. Next week is when I think, actually come game week 16 is when I think I'll be very, very happy with my team. Because my plan for next week, I think I'm going to make my transfers tonight actually, just to catch some price rises, is to bring in Dyer for Zuma and to bring in Stuart Dallas for one of Lewis or Veltman. Probably Veltman, although I'm leaning towards Jamal Lewis, just because Jamal Lewis is sort of guaranteed to start. Although Jamal Lewis's fixtures aren't very, very good at all. So it would be Dallas and Dyer coming in this week. And then probably Charlie Taylor coming in the week after that. So come at game week 16, my defence will have unbelievable fixtures. But that being said, game week 15 looks unbelievable for this kind of team as well. You know, you've got Salah at home, West Brom. You've got De Bruyne at home, Newcastle. You've got Leeds at home, Burnley. West Brom, Grealish plays Palace, so it's not too bad of a fixture. Man United don't have too bad of a fixture either, so that looks like a very good week. This guy said he's just brought in Dyer too. I know Dyer for me looks like a really, really good option, and I think now that the thing is, Chelsea have defensively, their expected goals is sort of way better than anyone else's. I think it's like they're expected to concede every 120 minutes. So we do sort of expect the clean sheets to continue for Chelsea. However, I do think the majority of the Kurt Zouma does look so good from set pieces, so I think I will miss that from him. But the money that sort of bringing in Dyer allows me to do. And that being said, you know, Dyer, when I watched him play against Palace, he was on free kicks. Should have scored a free kick really, so that would have been a goal for him. Should have scored a header as well. So his attacking threat isn't awful. He's nailed on that Spurs team, and that Spurs team, they literally look to grind through clean sheets. That's what I'd say with Spurs, is that in every single game, no matter who they play, Spurs look like they can get a clean sheet. And when they get a 0-0 as well, we can expect Dyer to be very high on the bonus points, potentially getting 3 bonus points. When they play the likes of Chelsea again, when they play the likes of Liverpool again, we can sort of expect that they'll be going for 0-0s, and hopefully Dyer will be up there on the clean sheets. The deadline has been passed. I hope everyone is comfortable with their teams. I hope you have enjoyed this little stream. Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with the team going in. Bruno Fernandes is my captain for this week. Good luck to everyone. Obviously, as I said, I hope I do well. I hope you do well. But I hope I do a little bit better, because it means, hopefully I get 80 points and you get 75. That'll be the best of both worlds. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed the stream. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you have enjoyed, and I'll catch you next week for the Boxing Day fixtures. But thanks.